2, and then one more that's from the book, and then I'll be done with y'all. Thank you so much for being around. All right, so if you've ever told anyone that you're an educator of any sort, you will relate to this. Response to every person who's told me, "You must be so patient." Right? Exes have called me impossible, and my Catholic mother often apologizes for not understanding me enough. Every morning my disgruntled feet navigate the stairs that the rest of my body curses. I roll my eyes at my roommate's greetings and fill my thermos with the coffee he's made. My drive to work is punctuated by fists on the dashboard and vocal conjecture on the size of other drivers' penises. The 15 minutes before the bell rings find me gossiping about coworkers and committing a hate crime on a photocopier. I'm at Corinne's desk before she is to help her write in cursive, and I've already drawn pictures around the big words on Daryl's dittos in case I'm not there when he gets to them. I remind Ashley that she doesn't need to apologize for how long it takes her to wheel herself to the lunchroom. It's why we're all here. My 6th period English class is not allowed to giggle at wrong answers because we are all just the same enough. My thermos is in my right hand for most of the day. This is not patience. It is a love I haven't learned to use anywhere else.
Good luck with that shit, son.
My other pet peeve. Reasons not to use retarded as an insult.
That's poetry.
Yo, we're not 7th graders.
You up there?
There are a million worlds in which retarded is not the casual annoyance of a C- in chemistry class, even if none of those worlds are yours. To some, it is the only name to call the boy under that helmet. It is the bony finger exposing the stitched-up knees that betray him in shorts weather. There is one vastly expansive universe, full of better words to use. Every so often, the words you speak will be received by ears unaware of nuance. They will not discern between meaning it your way and meaning it that way. Life will have long since stripped those ears of the filter that strains the thick pulp of effortless hate from each utterance and spit shines its benign intentions. There is endless, unnamed privilege in a brain that holds myriad better words to use. So I will know that the cop who ticketed your illegally parked car was not so much firmly located on the autism spectrum as he cramped your style. There are ears that hear retarded as all they will ever be. They share space with mouths that will never learn to say no. This is not who I am, and yes, you are responsible for knowing this. In every world in which your voice has been allowed to resonate, there sprawls a veritable cornucopia of better words to use, and not everyone has the access to them that you do. Thank you guys so much for sticking around again. I got books. I'm at the table behind a little wall thing. $10. I will sign them. That is all. That's all I will do. I will not do other things to the book. That would be weird, and they wouldn't open as well. And on that note, one last piece also from the book. And thank you guys again so much. Day 1 of James's standardized assessments finds us in the room that my students have nicknamed the testing closet. In its close confines, I can smell that James hasn't bathed in at least 4 days, and I can see the distinctly unmedicated darting of his eyes. I am not expected to include any of this in the report that I will write for James's last education plan. For that, I am to focus on how James responds to writing prompts, like the one with the picture of the boy with 2 robots. Students are to compare the robots using the word however. Nobody ever uses however correctly. When he sees the picture, James asks me, "Mr. August, can we name them and shit?" I am tempted to include this in the report, as well as the description of the discordant symphony created by James's rumbling stomach and muttering mouth, because nobody at the shelter where he's been staying is required to feed him or administer his schizophrenia meds. When I ask him if he needs to stop, he says, "No, I think I got this." I don't know how to teach the mechanical resolve that compels a barely literate young man to spend hours in a tiny-ass room just days after the cops pulled him from his new foster home because something in the stability there must have flared up those old episodes and he's been stealing shit again. Been pissing on floors and mattresses again. Day 2 finds me without James. Day 3 finds James just 12 hours after being released from the hospital because the guys at the shelter don't see the unmedicated schizophrenic. They don't see the 21-year-old high school student who won't even get a diploma. They just see the motherfucker who stole their shoes. And from across the testing closet table, y'all, I can distinctly make out the 3-inch unstitched gash in James's scalp from where they dragged him into the street by a fistful of his tracks. It is gaping like the most cynical of mouths, issuing a reminder that black and retarded are the only 2 strikes you need to be out in this world that I am supposed to be preparing him for. But I won't include any of that in the report either. But I will write that James has given the only response to the robot prompt in 7 years that has made me cry. He wrote, "The boy has 2 robots. However, he loves them both." Who taught James love? Not the birth mother who could never choose the miracle in her stomach or the boy in her arms over the hell she let march through her veins until her death. And if I'm being honest, it wasn't me either. Because despite the close confines he occupies in my heart, the rest of me is bound to a system that just wants a report, and I will write it with a prayer. Because sometimes a prayer is the closest thing a teacher has to control. I will write it desperate to believe that something in my time with James has built a shield for him. That for all of my students I am balm to bruised skin, a lullaby. Sung inside beaten hearts, I will write it, stealing James's own line. It will read, "In 7 years, I have taught over 100 students. However, I love them all." Thank you guys so much. Thank you.